Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pub Table Racers, brought to you by Lake Melbourne Patio and Game Rooms on Brawley School Road in Mooresville. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you, whether you're Irish or not. Tomorrow, we're all Irish. We know how it goes. If you need a note to get out of work on Thursday, call us. We have one ready for you. My name is Tim Packman. Sitting next to me is the one, the only
Warren Purcell.
Fresh off his Xfinity win with Austin Cindric at Team Penn. Good job. Congratulations.
Cheers.
It's good. 1 second. Warren, we are Pub Table Racers, and sitting in front of us is
a bucket of Miller High Life
and some visitor beer.
A couple of visitor beers.
All right. And why do we have a
visitor beer? We had a visitor.
And also, why do we have? Thank you. I'm sorry. Why do we have?
Well, because
my koozie.
This is Pub Table Racers.
No.
Well, you have to drink that fast.
Have to drink it fast because it gets warm.
This is Pub Table Racers, and this is what we do. We drink beer. We talk about racing. We have our guests on, and we get their story. Heroes, we'd like to call them.
Yeah. Let's see who else here. Welcome, Dan Lynch. Our people, my brother Jim from Vegas, #1 fan.
Tom B.
He's in the house. That's it. Beth from high school. Bender. Hello, guys.
Didn't we go to different high schools together?
No, her and I went to high school together.
Well,
graduated at the same time.
That's a line.
That's your line. That you use on. Good luck with that. She'll shoot you down.
Hey,
right.
it's a start.
That's good. All right, tonight's show, we have a very special guest tonight. Kelli McMahon, she's a longtime member of the NASCAR industry, grew up in racing. We have a great story about her, how she was a champion racer herself, pace car driver. We'll get to all that in a little bit. First, let's talk about the racing action this weekend. We didn't cheers? I thought we did. We'll cheers again. We got to drink, otherwise I get mad. Yell at
Of our NASCAR family.
Okay, we can do that. Family.
Because this really is a family.
It is.
And
well, then where's my birthday cards?
She's been in the sport for a long time.
Yes,
so
okay.
Now
family.
we can carry on.
Jessica Nichols, how are you? Let's talk with him today. Yes.
Boat trip.
The boat trip. We might have a special show coming up. It'll be a good time too. So Lake Melbourne Patio Game Rooms, real quick. He sponsors Leland Honeyman Jr. in the local late model series. First time this weekend, finished 6th. So, he'd love to come on the show. We can make that happen, Andrew. Xfinity race, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Austin Cindric.
Yep. Pretty much a dominating performance. Yeah, #2.
Good. So he last 2 times championship last year?
Yeah.
This time, good. That race I thought was pretty good.
I thought that race was really good.
Yep. Had some interesting plot lines and twists like they all.
With the way things are going with stages and tires and things like that, yeah, I thought it was good.
How was the mood in the shop today when you come? All right, good. And you're almost on Sunday.
Almost again. We were the first loser again.
Almost unplugged ourselves.
Don't unplug.
Yeah, but so Joey.
We won't go unplugged.
No, Joey Logano led the early portions of the race. Was it the track changing? What did you guys?
So from what we don't get to talk much with them guys, but from what I seen, it was either true that much better.
Right.
The track maybe came to him, maybe came to his car, or they made some really good adjustments, and he got really good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't get that good. I think we were good enough to beat him at the end, but the way everything worked out, it just didn't happen.
Right. Well, and then when Martin came on, he came to life there.
Yeah.
And just dominated. So congratulations to Martin. And now there are 5 different winners. The field's shrinking. What happens if we had 10 guys race their way in?
If you have 16 different winners,
then
you might end up with the guy who won
right
on the outside.
Could you imagine that?
Because of points.
Right, but now last year we had dominant winners, and now this year, well,
right. We got a ways to go.
We got a ways to go, but it's I kind of like that there hasn't been a repeat yet, so it's kind of filling the field up as we go. This week we go to Atlanta?
Hot
Atlanta.
Which is
now,
probably going to be lukewarm.
It's a spring race, yeah. Freezing. You either bake or you die there. Freezing. In the news, we're going to mention this. Stuart Friesen, Truck Series winner.
Yep.
In the truck race at Bristol coming up in 2 weeks, they announced that his wife, Jessica, is going to race against him. So it's the first time in the Truck Series history that a husband-wife will race against each other on the dirt. She is an experienced midget racer, sprint car racer. I mean, accomplished in her own right.
She's got dirt time.
Exactly. And before the show came on, we had breaking news. Stuart Friesen's going to make his Cup debut with Spire Motorsports in the number 77.
Right.
That's his first start in that. So Stuart has a huge dirt background. I mean, he'll race. What did he race last week? 2 weeks ago. On Friday, he did 2 dirt tracks. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. I mean, when he's not in the truck, he's in a dirt modified something.
I mean, I think all of this is good. Obviously, these Cup cars that we're taking there are not going to be like a dirt car that we've turned into a dirt car, and it's still going to be a little bit of not what people expect, in my opinion.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll know in 2 weeks. Bender.
I got news for you.
What's that?
I'll be there, so
Whoa! Really?
yeah, I get to go. I'm gonna.
You think you're going to the track?
I'm going to track.
Oh,
with
there
the,
you go.
21
Good.
Wood Brothers car.
Good. So we can get some expert analysis when you come back.
We'll see how expert it is. I'm more concerned about what I got to fix and what they let me fix and what they don't. Or runs this with the heat races and everything.
What if you tear your stuff up in a heat race?
Then I'll
As a
be
backup,
busy.
you'll be busy. Give me the sawzall!
I don't think we'll be going to any backups.
Okay, got
It'll be
it.
more about
Fixing what you got.
fix what you got, get it back out there.
Right.
I think they're going to be somewhat lenient on repairs.
Well, they should be. Get them out there.
They have to be.
Okay, it's good.
Unless they tear the nose or
Right.
off the thing. And
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're going.
yeah, I'm.
Do you remember how to get there?
I do.
Okay. Okay. It's been a while.
Yeah, a year plus.
Yeah, good. Well, before we bring up our special guest, Kelli McMahon, we did mention this Lake Norman patio and game rooms in Mooresville. Go see Brad and JoJo. What are some of the favorite things in there that you like?
I really like. They have some beautiful shuffleboards. I've always liked that game. I don't have room down here in my man cave for one because I have a pool table.
Right?
They also have great pool tables.
Yep.
Air hockey.
Bubble top, my favorite hockey.
The foosball I like.
Foosball?
Foosball.
And then upstairs he has the beautiful outdoor patio furniture. The teak just came in. Adirondack chairs, composite, high quality furniture that, you know, spring's coming, summer's coming. You're looking outside going, I need new stuff.
Yeah.
Go see Brad and JoJo and tell them we sent you. Right?
Really nice stuff. Stuff you're not going to find in some of your local yokel.
What's that place?
hardware
IKEA?
store.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not going to find it at IKEA.
No.
It's better there.
The IKEA stuff will last a year. Brad's will last years.
I went to one IKEA, I walked through it 20 minutes later, I go, I don't get it, and I left.
I did the same, and I'm
yeah.
like, I can't
get it.
speak to Sweden or whatever they're from, or Norway.
Perfect. Okay, this show is also brought to you by Warren. Who's that behind you right there? RacingJunk.com. Buy, sell, trade. Any item, motorsports or motorcycles. Go check them out. They've been a great supporter of ours. The items they have. If you want to sell something or buy something, just search, and it's going to come up, and you have a wide variety. Also, we'd like to welcome Rapid Removal, our new sponsor, advertiser partner. If you're looking for a 20-yard spot, go see Darren Russell. Give him a call. They came on for the next 3 months, and he has really grown that business in a year.
Yep.
And he was on last week, and he was a great guest, and he talked about if you
Got a lot of good feedback.
A lot of great feedback. Yeah. Like if you're doing like a reconstruction, remodeling, building, whatever, he's the one that can help you with that. So give him a call. Also, we can't forget our guys at the Garage Shop, Aaron Brown's Garage Shop over there. Check out what they got going. There's a lot of great car builds. The Ford Talladega is now being finished. The test wrap went on today. Amazing pictures, and it's kind of cool. And on Monday night, if you happen to be watching the YouTube channel, you may recognize somebody.
Yeah, you're actually helping them out with
I've been helping them out. We got some great interviews coming up, talking about the Dodge Daytonas with some legends. And Friday I'm going to be like a 12-year-old. I get to talk to Bobby Ellison, Donnie Ellison, and Dave.
Very nice.
That's the goosebumps. So I'll be sitting like this, listening to them. No, I'll be right.
Ask Dave if he likes cheese, I bet.
That's right. That was good. We should wear all Goodyear hats.
hat.
Okay, shall we?
Wingtips. Let's
shall we?
We shall.
All right. This girl has been a one of the first people I met when I got to Mooresville, North Carolina, 21 years ago. Gosh. She is from Central New York. She grew up as going to racetracks with her parents. Those guys became a championship motorcycle racer, a champion doing that a couple times over. She was a pace car driver, PR person. She worked for Bill Simpson, who taught her and safety and apparel. And now, as a result, she's the owner of Infiniti Actionwear. You can check them out on our website. There's a link on our sponsor page. Kelli McMahon, please join us.
Flat track.
Speedway.
Speedway.
There you go. I'm sorry.
Speedway.
You can straighten me out.
Brad's checking in from Southwest Florida. Brad, you're on your third or fourth mention, right? Now, Kelli brought her own special beer.
We gotta make sure we give her the right
Get
one.
one.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, we're gonna get that. Kelli McMahon, how large can you get for that? There you go. Warren opens up for you.
I can
There we go.
open that.
Cheers. Welcome.
Thanks, guys.
St.
Cheers.
Patrick's Day.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for being on.
having
All right. Oh, by the way, my uncle just tuned in. Happy birthday. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
I'm not allowed to say he's 71. Oh, I just slipped out.
I'm not allowed to say chick beer, but if any of you dudes drink this stuff, this is kind of like
What? It's just Bud Light
for the
wine.
late. It's for the
But
ladies.
so you don't get scurvy. Right.
I actually like. There was a Miller Chill. I like
Yeah,
those
okay.
by the pool in summer.
Gotcha.
We can't
They're
get them.
definitely
good
good summer
show.
beer.
Okay.
For sure.
So, Kelli, whereabouts in Central New York? What's the name of that town again?
I'm from Appalachian. I went to high
Appalachian.
school in Vestal, which
Right.
is half south of Syracuse, right on the Pennsylvania borderline.
Gotcha. So geographically, you know it's Central New York. Perfect. How did you get your big word? You can look it up later. It's right next to engineering. How did you get your start? How did you become interested in motorsports?
Actually, my mom's fault. She got
Yeah.
my dad involved, but mostly as race fans. Grew up around the modifieds. Richie Evans became a big staple in our household. They were very good friends with him, followed him everywhere. So I grew up at Shangri-La Motor Speedway. I was practically born.
Okay.
So grew up around mostly asphalt modifieds, a little dirt with 5 Mile Point. Actually moved when I first moved from Vestal, I moved up by Syracuse to Skinny-Atlas and went to work for Dirt Motorsports in 1995 for a year.
Skinny
Skinny-Atlas.
Skinny-Atlas.
Spell it.
Oh,
Spell- all night. Really got an hour, Kelli.
Skinny-Atlas.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll Google it later.
So Richie Evans. So you're watching like Jerry Cook, Richie Evans,
Yeah.
Jeff Bodine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching like the legends.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Grew
I
up
mean,
around that
but you didn't know. You were just like your kid watching, like, oh, there goes Richie.
Yeah.
But now look, Hall of Fame and everything, the status he has. So you're following. You're going to the track.
So growing up around asphalt, when Richie passed away, they actually started going up to the Speedway motorcycle races up in just a little bit northeast of Binghamton to the Speedway races. And the funny thing was, I was 15. I was old enough to stay home. My mom was trying to get me to go up. Didn't want to go. They're like, "Come on, just come up with us." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stay here tonight." And they finally convinced me to go up with them. Had the best time that night. Found out one of my fellow classmates at the high school raced, and we had a lot of fun. It was interesting. They had a band and stuff afterwards, so we started going every week. I went and told my parents I wanted to try it out, and they were okay. I mean, they weren't opposed to it.
So I want to get on one of them motorcycles.
They were jumping through hoops for it.
Sure.
I have a younger brother who's 5 years younger than me, and so he had a motocross bike at the time. Wasn't racing, just kind of trail riding, and he kind of told him the same thing. He wanted to try it out. So they told him if he sold his bike, they'd buy him a Speedway bike and let him try it out. And we went up to a practice one night, and he got on it. And there was maybe 5 people sitting in the stands, and he did not want to go out. He was intimidated completely by
Really?
any kind of a crowd. So he refused to go out. So I said, well, we've got the bike now. Can I try it out? And they figured no harm done at this point.
But you've
And
never been on it. You never raced. You never
You've been
practiced.
on motorcycles. I mean,
prior to that,
never on anything.
So what size was it? What was it?
I can't even remember
Okay.
what size bike we tried out. I think it was, no, because that was my first bike. It was a Brigo. It was 250,
Okay.
but that was pretty much it was a 3/4 bike. I graduated up to the 500 when I really started getting into the racing.
Right.
So they cut you loose that first night.
So went out, fell in love with it. The promoter came up to me, and I planned on, just because I'd never been on a bike, practicing and kind of going for a few weeks. But the promoter came up to me that night, and he's like, "Here's the deal. We want you to come race Saturday night. We have a son who wants to get involved, and he wants to race. So we're going to start a separate division for you guys. So it'll be a beginner division." So packed up, showed up Saturday night, and it was me, him, and another guy joined us. So it was 3 of us,
Right.
and so kind of same with me. I was a little intimidated in front of the crowd and stuff, but as soon as I got out there, I was fine. And so the way this track was set up, big biker track. So backside was a grandstand that they would call the Black Flag Crew.
Okay.
Your hardcore bikers
Sure.
and everything else. So that was my one thing when I went out. I said, I don't want to go out and crash in front of these guys because I don't know
Pretty
what's
much
going to happen. I'm going to know
Right.
exactly what they think of me.
Sure, right.
And sure as anything,
What'd
I
you
go
do?
out and spin around. I crashed in that side, and so I get up, pick my bike up, and this guy comes up to the fence. He's like, "Hey, you!" I'm like, "Oh fuck!" I'm like, "Here we go." And I
Right.
look up, and I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Stick with it. That's so cool." I'm like, "All right." I'm like, "So this may not be a bad thing." So I raced Speedway for 4 years, won 2 track championships in that.
2 tracks.
Moved
What
over-
size bikes were them? Still 250s?
No, 500.
500.
cc, no brakes,
what-
oval track.
What brand?
I had a Jawa for the rest of the time after I graduated from my
What
first
kind
bike.
was it?
What kind of bike?
Jawa.
Jawa.
And is that a? So I don't, because I don't know this at all.
Right.
And you got to help me out here. So this is a 4-stroke.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's
no
it's
brakes
it's a
and your
custom.
throttle
Is
and
it
everything.
some custom bike with like a Honda motor on it, or?
Nope. It was
It's
a Jawa motor.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah,
So is that-
it's
is
a
that-
Britain bike. Most.
Okay.
So you got Jawa, Brigo, everything as far. There really wasn't a U.S. made Speedway bike.
Okay.
Everything was mostly geared towards England.
Perfect.
Speedway is in that.
Okay. And when you say speedway, compared to what I'm thinking of flat track,
Correct.
because I'm thinking of that's Harley Sportsters.
Correct. Yep. Totally opposite. Your flat track, you have a transmission.
Okay.
So flat track goes usually a little bit over 100. Speedway, you're around 60 to 80, depending on the size of the track, but no brakes. Flat track, you have brakes. Flat track is more of a stockier bike. Speedway is a very narrow, skinny bike.
Okay.
So when you're how old were you doing this now?
I started when I was 15.
Okay.
So I was just getting into high school. A lot of people at high school had no idea that I was even doing it until the year I graduated. The local news the local newspaper did an article on me, and I had people come up to me all the time. They're like, "Why didn't you say anything?
Why didn't
How
you
did
say
you-"
it? Why didn't you tell people?
I went to the school I went to was it was a very preppy high school, very doctors, lawyers, and here you have a girl going and racing motorcycles in the dirt. So I didn't know how people would accept it, and something I did
So
on
you
the
just won
weekends.
championships and showed them. Good job. Good.
So
All right. So that's how you got your start. Congrats on. And you made your way. So you're up there. Went to dirt. You said you worked there for a little bit.
So after I did Norcross for 2 years, I had the opportunity actually to move down here, and I also had an offer to move north to Syracuse to help out a girlfriend run a drugstore up there. So I actually ended up moving up to Skinny Atlas by Syracuse. And while I was there, a job came open at Dirt Motorsports headquarters, and so I went over there for a little over a year, probably the best year of my life.
Good.
Worked my ass off. It was 7 days a week.
And who was running dirt then?
Glenn Donnelly was
Glenn Donnelly,
working.
legendary
So
Glenn
I was
Donnelly,
working
yeah.
anywhere from front desk to I was working at the tracks, either selling 50-50 tickets or doing hospitality.
But you're out there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
you
it
were there.
was constant. Yeah, I
So
mean
this is the
Canada
start of your
Day,
PR type work.
pretty
type-
much, yeah,
good.
because I did just about everything you could possibly do there. I was
Right.
Friday nights. I was at Canandaigua doing hospitality, and then Saturday night was Saturday night was Canandaigua. Friday night was when I was at Apple Valley or Spencer Speedway.
And what did you do at Apple Valley / Spencer Speedway, Kelly?
I drove pace car.
How did that happen? How does that just go?
You know, like
Hey,
I
you're
said,
pretty. Come drive the pace car.
I wish I could remember how
Okay.
it all came about because I don't remember how I got the initial
Right.
ask to come do it. I think I knew somebody who was either working out there or racing out there. I really don't know. And they told them my background. I used to race motorcycles, and
So they
they
figured
said
you
we
could-
need a pace car
car.
driver, and so I did that for a year, and it was definitely a lot of
Good.
fun. It was very interesting, and
Sure.
there was
You,
definitely
you
some
got
good
to lead every
stories.
race.
You got it.
Exactly.
I even almost got him taken out.
I know.
Not every race, never won one.
Nice. Yeah, I never won one. No. So you're there, and then the move comes down here eventually.
So then, yeah. So
Okay.
96, I moved down here,
And first job here was
well, I moved down. I didn't move down for a job. I knew I wanted to move down here to be
Right.
involved in racing and get involved in NASCAR. And prior to coming down here, I had been on a motorsports cruise, and all the people that I met told me, like, if you want to work in racing,
like a cruise ship.
yep, it was the
That's a
Miller.
good
yep,
way to network. Yeah.
It was your
Miller?
Miller High Life cruise.
Okay.
Yeah, Miller Motorsports cruise.
Wow, that's good.
And so I met a bunch of people in racing on that cruise, and they all told me the same thing. If you want a job in racing, you have to pick up and move down here.
Yeah.
Why are they going to go to New York to hire somebody when they have
Right.
5 people at their front door?
So,
Exactly true.
real quick, I'm going to throw this out. Yeah, have a sip of beer. Wet your whistle. If anybody watches our show, there's a trend forming here.
Yeah.
And the trend is if you want to do this, first of all, you got to be here.
Right.
You're not going to send a resume from
Akron, New York.
Yeah, or from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or whatever.
Right.
And you got to be here. They want you here. Usually, what happens is can you? You know,
For a
but
week,
I had to throw it in.
No, so
Go
you
ahead.
did the same.
Carry
that's
on.
good.
I love your story so far.
So you're on the cruise. You need to, and then so you
And
started.
they told me the same thing. You got to be.
Except for the cruise. I don't like cruises. I've been on a cruise. I feel like I'm on a floating golden corral. That's
Really?
I love getting off the boat and going to the island.
Right, okay, yeah.
I hated being on.
Got
the
it. Just too many.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
You make so many trips to the ice cream machine. I get it. Got it.
Well, it's just like the cruise. It's like there's a line for
Yeah.
to get a sandwich. You know.
Well, then you know what? You should go on the Rich Pickle cruise in January
You know, I
because
should.
it'll be different. Yeah, you
I'll
should.
meet you at any
That'll-
island you want.
Well, we're going to a
And
bunch
we'll
of them.
party like
Oh, don't tell Kelly. Kelly will show up. Oh, is there another trip somewhere? She'll go. Anyhow. All right, so let's go back to you, Kelly. No more ice cream peach
Oh,
cobbler
cruise is
stories over there.
free.
Okay, got it.
Uh,
All right, so you're down here. You started working.
So yeah, so I came down, and it still wasn't as easy as everybody
Sure,
made
no,
it seem
no.
like. You get out there, and I moved down. I moved down with a guy that had gotten a job in racing, and then we split our ways. But I wanted to stay to see this out, and took resumes around and everything else, knocked on doors, and it was a matter of who you knew and being in the right spot at the
exactly
right
what it is,
time. I mean, you just don't walk into it. So I did numerous things when I first moved here, bartending, I was an office manager, I worked for a lawn care company, I've done a little bit of everything.
You
and
tended bar at the world famous in Mooresville, Rockin' and Racing.
I did,
Anybody and everybody in racing used to go to this.
yes.
Yes.
Let's just call it a rural, rustic place because a hole in the wall. What do you want to call it?
Oh yeah,
Hole in the
definitely
wall.
hole in the
Coldest
wall.
beer in town.
Bras and panties hanging from the ceiling.
I was gonna leave that part out. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm
okay,
not
that's fine.
because
You could.
I guess the fire marshal came in and told Stan he had to get them all
Stan
down there. A
Yoder.
fire hazard. I'm like, a fire hazard? What?
So you could walk in there and you'd be with Jimmy Johnson. You could be with Kurt Busch, John Darby, officials.
Warren Brazell, Tim
Ron-
Hackman,
yeah,
Tim Clemens.
but then like, you know what? Yeah, Tim Clemens. But I mean, it was like anybody. They just kind of went there
Frozen turkey bowling.
and then
Yes.
and kind of hung out, and they just tore it down. A lot of people were sad.
I know,
I was
took
a little
pictures
sad.
of it when I saw
I
that
was a
each
little
time.
sad.
It's
For like
like, there's
15
so
years,
many
yeah.
A lot of
memories in
memories
that
there.
house.
Yeah.
So rocking and
Yeah,
racing,
that was-
that brings up memories for a lot of people. We're back up.
100%.
Okay, so you got that. Now you're
So basically, starting off, I freelanced for Sunbelt Video way back in the day,
Which was a
vlogging videotapes.
production company of early NASCAR races, and they had some shows, and there was quite a few people that started out back then.
Yeah.
Oh, Sunbelt Video. Yeah, I'll tell you
Yeah.
about that. Oh, real quick, Tracy Hutzel. I know you're not watching. Maybe you are. Just got a job. She's been out of work for a year. Just got a job as a director of the NASCAR Foundation. She has to pick up and leave Mooresville and go down to Daytona. I figure if you leave Mooresville, Daytona's not a bad place. So we can stick it out, Tracy.
About second best.
Yeah, second best.
Let's
Right.
go there.
Right. Okay.
So
Sorry.
oh, you're fine.
All right.
From there, I did PR for TJ Bell in the Truck Series.
Yep.
That was back in 97.
That's it, okay.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, you
We're,
can get
we're,
close.
we're, yeah, I'm getting close. We're not
Yeah,
gonna
I would
quiz.
say the
There's no quiz.
Late
The
90s.
90s.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it was definitely late 90s.
Right.
We get a little bit of old timers on this show.
Sure.
We don't have all timers.
Actually, it was actually probably more 2000, 2001.
So, you know Andrea Calkins?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, say hi to her.
Hi, Andrea.
She says, and this is a female, so I'm just reading what's here. On the lighter side of this broadcast, can we all acknowledge that Kelli McMahon is looking hot? Pretty tonight, because Kelli, we'll get to why she is, what she's wearing there. Okay, good times there. It looks fabulous. Good, I brushed my teeth, all right. Anyhow, Kelli, our guest here.
Well, I mean, I think she looks great.
Okay,
too.
perfect, yes.
Thank you.
Go ahead, so you were talking.
I don't even know where I was at, and I threw me off.
Well, now
okay.
we got her flat.
You're
Have a little sip of beer.
Sunbelt Videos, and then from there you TJ Bell.
I did PR for
Got
TJ.
it, got
And then little stuff here and there, little marketing, PR stuff. And then I got the phone call in January of 2003 from Bill Simpson.
The legendary Bill Simpson, Simpson Products, light myself on fire with my safety
Right.
fire suit on,
Fire
further
suit,
work.
seatbelts,
And that guy,
helmets,
legend. And
all
that guy,
safety equipment.
all the stuff he
And a
did.
great guy.
He has saved so
I
many
met him
lives.
one time in Indy.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite times I ever
Yeah.
spent in the sport. Was hanging out with that guy.
So Vinny's, while we're talking about old places on the waterfront, showed up. You brought him into Vinny's one night with Kelli and introduced me. I was NASCAR.com or what I was doing with that, and just started talking. I was standing there like, oh my god, this guy, just the stories he told, and I just read
Right.
his book, and yeah. So you worked with him.
He wasn't afraid to put a few back either.
No, he was not. No.
That was something I never had to worry about. I was working for him.
Hey, he enjoyed it.
But I mean,
So what did you do for him? You got the call and you handled. That's when he had Impact, right?
So he had just started Impact, a year of Impact, and he wanted somebody to help run his the Eastern Division of the company, handle everything that went with down here. Cup, Infiniti, trucks, ARCA, Hooters Pro Cup, start a store.
It was all on you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. We started everything from ground up down here. So I got the phone call. Like I said, I'd met Bill before. My old roommate, she was his co-pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd met Bill a few times. He knew my background. He knew I used to work in racing, or I used to race motorcycles. And I got the call out of the blue. It was a Friday. I remember it was right before the test at Daytona, and I didn't recognize the number. So we went to voicemail, and I started listening to it, and I'm like, why the hell is Bill Simpson calling me for? Like, I had no idea what was going on, and so I called him right back, and he said, "Are you in Daytona?" And I said, "No." I said, "I actually thought about going down this weekend to see, if anybody was hiring or what was going on." And he said, "I'll be back in town on Monday. I'd really like to sit down and talk with you." And I was like, "All right." And he said, "Let's meet at 4 o'clock on Monday." And I said, "Sounds good." So he showed
Bill
up.
Simpson.
Bill Simpson.
Did you know what he wanted to talk to you about?
No
Oh,
clue.
wow.
No idea.
So how was your week?
So I gotta
no
go.
idea
I
what's
gotta
going
go here,
Okay.
because this is what I do.
Yep.
All right. So no, I'm gonna be.
I'm being
it's
funny.
gonna be
Go ahead,
good.
go ahead.
So he's calling you.
Mhm.
Do you have any college background for what he's asking you to do?
Well, I did. When I moved down here, I actually did go to the community college for motorsports management.
Okay.
So.
So you have some,
Right.
and but you're still getting put in this top tiered. I mean, this is
Right.
a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
What you're
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
he's putting you in charge of, and to me, it's like he probably looked at more of your experience
100%.
Right.
than your education.
To him, he is more of a hands-on person. He never, as far as I know, he never went to college.
Right.
He, and that was it's what you know, where you came from,
Yeah.
your background, and that's what he came to me and said.
And entrusted you into doing this for him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, I know you race. He's like, I know you understand helmets.
Mhm.
He's like, you might not know helmets, but you know helmets. You know what people are looking for in a helmet.
They mess up your hair.
That's why I put racing.
Oh no, you could have a helmet on.
That'd be just like that.
Still look like Trump.
Thank you. Really. I'll take the money though. Go ahead. We digress. Poor Kelly.
I think I need more beer.
That's why it's a pub table.
A seltzer.
Seltzer.
Some of them.
I'll start
Coronas.
drinking those.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
I
Nice.
had no problem with those.
No, you bring
Alright,
bring
alright.
it over. We're
Well, that's
good.
what you said. Bring something green for
That's
St.
fine.
Patrick's.
I get us off
Green.
track.
You're good. That's fine. We're
I
good.
know I get us off track a little
Off
bit.
track,
I gotta
yeah.
notice stuff.
I understand it. That's good. I want you because then. Perfect.
If you want to ask a question, then you know somebody else is thinking it.
And no, well, exactly, and because I'm not educated, and because I know how far I've gotten in this sport, and you don't need to be educated. You do now, but you didn't back when we were doing
You
this.
gotta pay attention.
It's about your drive, and it's
Right.
about your goals, and it's about your work ethic.
Right.
So let's go with that.
Back to. So now you're going to work. So
Well,
you're meeting
Yeah, you're meeting Bill
Bill,
Simpson.
Bill Simpson.
Was he on fire?
We actually meet at Big Al's and Cornelius.
Okay.
'Cause I was actually bartending that night, so an hour before my shift, we met to meet up. And so he sits me down and he said, did you find a job? Do you have a job? Are you working? And I said, no, I'm still looking. And he said, I'm going to propose something to you. I don't know whether it's something you want, and I don't know if it's something that's going to work with me. But here's the deal. He said, I need somebody to handle everything down on this end in the south. I need a rep. I need somebody that can, that understands this. He said, I know you used to race, so I know you understand the, logistics and the basics of what you look for in safety equipment and helmets and everything else. He said, if you're interested, he said, I'd like to try this out on a trial basis. He said, I want to bring you up to Indy for a month to hang out and learn.
They're
Mm-hmm.
headquartered there.
Yeah.
Yep, in
Okay.
Brownsburg, yep,
Got it.
just outside of Indianapolis.
Right.
And he said, I want you to spend a month up there and, see if you like it. And then we'll start sending you to the track, maybe March, April, maybe Rockingham, I think was the first race they wanted to send me to. And I said, listen, if we're going to do this, I said, you need to get me to Daytona. I said, because your trucks are off for 3 weeks after that. So if you're going to get any new business, I said, they're still going to be looking for new stuff after Daytona. And he's like, that's the feedback I want to hear. He's like, I want you up in Brownsburg I think it was this Thursday. I was like, so my first test was to take his Tahoe and his trailer and drive it from here to Brownsburg, which I hadn't pulled a trailer in
Sure.
over 10 years. It's been
Right.
forever. And sure as anything, we get a blizzard the day I'm supposed to leave. And I was like, oh, this is great. So he let me postpone it by one day.
Right.
So roads through the mountains were still bad when I
Right.
went up. I mean, I think it took me 14 hours to get
But
up there.
you
I was
got-
white
so
knuckled the whole
I
way.
got-
I was
I'm
the
Bill
whole
Simpson. I
way.
got Bill
You're
Simpson
in
stuff,
you're in
yeah.
a dually truck or a pickup truck, and you're pulling how long of a trailer?
Jeez, I don't even remember.
40, 20, 20?
Nah, probably 20, 25.
Okay, but you're by yourself.
By myself, yeah. Yep,
Go
up in
ahead.
the mountains.
This is very
and,
commend.
No, she's not
This
afraid,
is what Woman's
History Month.
History Month is all
I just want
about.
to make history. Thank you. I forgot
Because
to
I
mention-
would have been history if I had to pull that trailer through the snow.
I forgot-
I'd have been
I
off
forgot
the
to
road calling someone to
I'll tell you.
Bill?
I was,
Yeah, it ain't good.
it was
So you're
definitely
hauling this
something.
up. So you're going to Indianapolis,
So,
right?
yep, I get up there, and I wasn't even up there a week. And he came to me and sat me down. He's like, here's the situation. He's like, I've talked to everybody. He says, you've taken good notes. You know your shit. You know what you're doing. He said, I don't need you here for the full month. Go home, take a couple weeks off, relax, and I'll meet you in Daytona.
Nice.
And boom, you're hired. You're on the payroll.
And
Very
this is
good.
history.
Wow.
So,
And so how long did you work with him? Before him?
Well, for close to 10 years on and off,
Wow.
different, after the impact deal, I was with him, from the first full year till he sold it December 2010. So by June of 11, they got rid of us, but Mastercraft had bought it, and they put their people in place. And then
You hated that. I remember that. You did. You
Well,
hated.
it's
You
not
were-
I
know,
really
but-
thought
no,
at that
'cause
point
you- no,
that
you-
was going to be where I ended my career.
Right,
I
and
enjoyed my
you're
job. It was always a
established, right? You're
challenge.
established.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
I remember-
and it wasn't it wasn't perpetual.
Right.
It was always something new. I mean, there's always challenges and everything else, but I enjoyed it no matter whether I was working a 24-hour day or
Right.
what. I enjoyed it, and I really thought that was where I would end my career, everything else, and then it just got taken.
So I remember.
You know-
Go ahead.
It's really hard to work in anything in this sport for 10 years.
Right.
It's really hard. I mean, I've made it 9.5 at DEI and 9 at RCR.
Right.
And
This is my 20th year in the sport.
well, I'm
Yeah.
20.
Right.
I'm 25 in the sport, but
Right.
the and I've never quit. Well, I take that back. I quit paying back. But what I'm getting at is that the changes that evolve, you know, with your company, that it was the same changes that have evolved with the companies I work for. And to work 9 or 10 years in this sport is a big deal.
But Kelly, I remember when it started with you. I remember you did remember the letter we gave Bill to make sure that it was legit. You know, we did it. He goes, "What's this?" He goes, "I always want to make sure, but I wanted you to be covered." And then you went through the whole thing, and when it sold, and I remember how sad you were and upset because you gave 10 years of your heart and soul to that whole thing. So Bill Simpson, what is a couple things you learned working with him?
Oh my!
Great.
Just give me a couple.
Great
Because I know you worked
and
hard.
he was like my second dad, and it absolutely crushed me when we lost him.
Yeah.
But
it crushed a lot of us. I seen a lot of your posts when you did that on Facebook and stuff, and I thought about the time I got to meet him and how great of a guy he was. It's just, you know, people don't realize he was a racer.
Legend.
He was a racer, and he wanted people safe.
Right.
As long as I worked for him, I mean, it was always new stories. I mean, I can't tell you, I enjoyed going up to the Brickyard every year because I would just sit in the back of his suite and just listen to the stories that went around in that room, and it just, you know,
little kid status, right?
Oh yeah.
No,
I mean, so we had a meeting. So during this deal, we were trying to get our CR on board with us. So Bill and I went up and had a meeting with Richard Childress in his office, and it was just the three of us. And I just got to sit back and take in all the stories.
Right.
And I mean, I've definitely, you know, like I said, he's been a mentor. He, like you said, safety has always been number one.
Yep.
And that's why I said if I ever race cars, I 100% would be in his stuff because he's the only person I've ever seen out there that's actually put his own stuff on and proved that his stuff works.
Right.
And I would always back him up no matter what happened because he was a firm believer. And I mean, so there was one year I was up in Brownsburg. I'd have to go up, you know, every few months to go up for a couple days. And Bill's like, "Come on, jump in the truck with me. We're going to go test this parachute." Next thing I know, we're going through the park 120 miles an hour, and he's in the back of the pickup truck going through some business park, throwing a parachute out the back of a truck. I was like, I can just imagine what these people looking out their windows are thinking. What
there goes Bill!
crazy person doing?
Drag him out of the truck.
Yeah.
Leave me in
Exactly.
That's good.
just a parachute.
Would you call the fire department or that? That's what I'm going to call today. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, you know, he taught me so much about business. He taught me so much about life. I mean, everything. Like I said, he was so like my second dad. Like you said, he could throw a few back. If you've never read his books, you have to read his books. When I first started working for him, even the first full year I worked for him, I still was intimidated every day. Like
Seriously?
that phone would ring. Oh yeah.
Really? For
every
him?
day that phone would ring, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, now what? I'm like, did I do something wrong? What's going on?
Sure.
And,
Right.
like I told you, we did another interview where I said, Ron Hornaday gave me the best piece of advice when I started working for Bill. He said, as long as you don't screw Bill over, Bill will have your back and take care of you for the rest of your life. He said, but there's going to be times that, he's like, you have to have thick skin, and as long as you can let shit go in one ear and out the other, you're golden. And it wasn't even a day or two later, I'm in Bristol and I get this phone call, and I pick up the phone and he's screaming.
Right.
And so
Bill is.
yeah, oh
No,
yeah.
Ron, okay.
No. So I pull the phone away and I'm like, okay, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay.
Was it a flip phone that day?
No.
So I hang up the phone and I was like, I don't know what just happened. I don't know what I did wrong or anything else. So back, he's like, I'm really sorry. He's like, you were just the first one to answer the phone. He's like, this had nothing to do with you. Yeah, exactly.
That shows your dedication and
Right.
your loyalty to
Yeah.
be there when
You
you
know,
want.
I'll bet she didn't cry.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
No, because
And it was like really after that was
Strong
just like,
woman's
all right,
month.
so
Exactly, yes.
So yeah, and like you said, if you've never read his books, you have to read his books. I didn't read his first book until maybe a year or two after I started working for him, and like I knew he was crazy, and I knew his crazy stories, but I didn't know how crazy until I read these books, and I was like, holy crap! I mean, he personally stopped a NASA launch. He drove his boat up into a dock one night in Mexico and laid, like into the restaurant and laid next morning. It was like, what is going on? I mean, you have to read the books. It's very, very interesting. But he always told me, if you can't drink with him, you can't trust him. So I knew I could never do anything
Right.
worse than he's ever done.
Good thing you're Irish.
I'm pretty good at this drinking business, and I can barely drink with him.
Frank Mathalia says, what was the name of Bill's bar in Indy? Do you know?
Kelly's.
Kelly's?
Yeah.
Oh, he said he went there with Red Dog and Sterling Marlin.
Yeah, actually, it was before. Yeah.
Oh, you
That
didn't
was-
name it after you? Or just
No.
okay.
That was he actually had it sold before I started working for him, but
Okay.
that was way back in the day.
Two things you learned from Bill.
Oh,
Two biggest things that you would use today.
I mean, business, like I said, just always work hard, and personal relationships mean so much. We do everything. When I work for him to what I incorporate now, how much of a difference it is being at the racetrack than going and visiting people at race shops, because it's so political now that everybody's not at the shop.
And we're so disconnected now, right?
100%. I mean, even before the whole COVID deal, I mean, if you have a marketing company that's out of Ohio, but they're the ones that's ordering your fire suits and your shirts and your safety equipment, it's not going to help going to the shop. And they're busy working on the car there. And I can't tell you how many times I've been at the in the garage and somebody will come up to me like, "Oh crap, I need stuff for next weekend." They they see you, they remember. So it's always been.
Okay.
And that's why you're there.
So now, we'll just fast forward a little bit. So you now have your own company.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say Bill inspired you to do that?
100%.
Okay, got it.
Working for Bill, yeah.
And what's it called?
Infiniti Actionwear.
Right. And what are you wearing tonight?
My Infiniti Actionwear shirt.
There you go.
Which I
Perfect.
can't see probably with my hair.
You're
but-
good. That's fine. So when did you start that?
So we started working on it at the end of 2003, but we didn't get it up and going until 2004. We actually started outsourcing the first 6 months because we had to order equipment, come in.
Right.
Everything was kind of a fluke how it happened. I knew it was something I wanted to get into. I had talked about it before I'd left, or right after I'd left. I said, I know the shirt deal is not a political deal, it's more of a price deal.
Yep,
if you
absolutely.
can beat the other guy by $5 a shirt, you're going to get that business.
Because
It's not
they're ordering a lot of shirts. So
Right.
$5 is
Right.
times 100.
where you understand the fire suits is a
400.
safety aspect, and more people are. And I completely understand that. I would never force somebody to wear something else if they didn't feel comfortable in, as long as they know the facts with what they're wearing. If you don't know what you're wearing, you need to go out and look what burn rates are and everything else, because you'd be surprised. And there are fire suit companies out there that I feel bad, and I don't know how they're even legal, because there's people that have gotten seriously burned in some of these fire suits.
Okay.
You need to know what you're wearing.
Nice.
Don't go for price.
That's
Go
like
for
under
quality.
that's like
Yeah.
under the
You
table
only-
info there. We
Right.
You
just
only,
Yeah.
you only have one body, you only have one head.
Right,
I mean,
A
there's-
fire suit could mean you're protected, or it just
Right.
means you're on fire.
It takes one wreck
Is
to
what
find
she's
out you're the
saying.
wrong stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That whenever everybody calls me and says, "Well, we need a cheap suit," I'm like, "Then don't call me." I said, "You don't want a cheap suit, and
Right.
I'm not going to get you a cheap suit." So
That's it.
it depends
You have
on
cheap
what.
skin.
What do you have? Yeah. What do you have a cheap wife?
Yeah, how much is a skin grind?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the hospital bills and everything else,
Right.
It's worth that
you-
extra.
You get
Good.
So.
So you started that. Now you have the company, and you make. What are some of the, name everything
We
off you make,
primarily make the sublimated crew shirts.
which is what you're wearing
that the
tonight.
guys wear.
Yep.
Yep. We print press cut here in Mooresville. We have
They're soft too.
polyester.
Polyester.
I have people locally that sew for me.
Mhm.
So like I said, we got it going. It all, like I said, I started talking about, I knew it was something I wanted to do. I knew the potential for it. I knew what it was going to take, but I didn't know, I learned from ground up. I didn't know how the equipment ran.
Right.
I didn't know nothing.
Can you talk about who you handle right now?
Well,
Are you allowed to or
it's Corona. Well, I've
No,
got
I mean,
some-
whose
What
shirts
team?
do you make?
What teams do you work with?
right now, premium. I've done stuff for Spire. I've done JD Motorsports. I've done a lot. So I do Gators as well, which
Okay.
is big right now, which
Okay.
I've done that for a lot of different people. That really helped save me during
I mean,
the
when I'm
Corona
looking at
time.
your stuff, it's the same stuff that I look at that I get from Penske, and or when I was at RCR. It's years ago everything was embroidered.
Right.
Embroidered.
Embroidered. That makes good.
I was gonna say,
I'll get it right.
Sure.
And now it's a screen printing or something?
It's called sublimation.
Sublimation.
So everything starts out white.
Yep.
Doesn't matter whether it's a black shirt or not.
Okay.
Everything is print. So the pattern gets printed out to size on a heat transfer paper. That paper goes on the fabric. The fabric goes into.
Because
a
everybody's
heat
stuff
press.
looks like this now.
Right.
Is what I'm getting at.
Mhm.
So what I want to say is that why, I don't know who we get our stuff from, but maybe it's a contract. Maybe it's.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's hard for me to compete with bigger teams because there's loyalty.
Yeah.
Number one, which is actually hard to find in the sport anymore, which is sad to say.
Yep.
But bigger teams have better contracts. They can get free products. They get free
Yeah.
fire suits, or they get free shirts if they buy fire suits.
Yeah.
And I'm a small independent company.
Right.
I can't do
Free
that.
for me, free for Kelly.
Unfortunately,
And-
I have
and
to
you-
survive too.
You're a
and-
small company,
Yeah.
but you're doing the work that you're doing. And by the way, may I take a note?
Mhm.
If you order one of our koozies off our website, pubtableracers.com, with all our merchandise, Kelly makes those. There you go. So those are the koozies. That's the woman that made them right there.
I
And
did.
they're nice
And
koozies.
they're awesome. And I picked the one night to forget mine. It's nice. She's
And
hot.
I never used
Idiot.
I don't use them
Yeah,
either.
okay,
so.
fine. I do. It's the same one you gave me the prototype. I still have that for
Yep.
months now. Gosh,
So,
they hold it. So it just shows the quality of them.
yep.
There you go. So you're in this, and now you have the equipment.
Yeah, and that also, like I said, when I started talking about doing this, there was everything kind of happened for a reason, obviously. I knew this was something I wanted to pursue somewhere down the road, and this guy,
I'm just checking.
Make sure you take notice. Make sure you take care of
I
it.
know,
You're a guest
appreciate
here
it.
tonight.
Well,
Make sure.
thank you. So there was a guy when I worked for Impact who had brought his own material in for us to print on to make shirts for
Oh, okay.
back when Tommy Baldwin Racing was up and running. And I remember this fabric, and I'm like, I really like this fabric. It was really nice fabric. I'm like, I wish I could find this guy. Well, it was funny, maybe 3-4 months later, I was out at the Blue Parrot, and this guy shows up. He walks in.
Yep.
And I was like,
You.
that's really weird. And he comes up to me.
So
and
the
gives me a
story
hug.
starts out because and I like to joke. A guy walks into the bar
To the paradigm. At the paradigm, so I was at the Blue
with
Parrot.
some fabric.
He didn't have the fabric on him.
Okay. Sorry, you
I gotta put my humor in there. That's what I'm here for.
Well, that was-
That's all. I don't know about none of
I
this
mean, I
stuff.
could. Like, I was just thinking about you, and he's like,
Oh,
"Sure," and I was like,
He's
no,
like,
no, no, no,
yeah.
no. Like about your fabric.
About paradigm. Okay, got it.
So we sat down, had a beer, started talking, and he's like, well, I used to have a sublimation company up in New York, and right now it's all sitting in the storage.
Really?
The
Uh-huh.
printers, the heat press, the sewing machines, fabric,
Not
everything
anymore.
you need. And I was
Not
like,
anymore, yeah.
You were like, you want a shot?
yeah, I was like, we need to talk.
Yeah. So you bought all.
3 tequilas for him.
No,
Okay.
no.
And negotiations started.
Unfortunately,
And next thing you know,
I managed to buy his material off of him.
Okay.
So we did open communication, start talking, came up with a price and everything else, and it was supposed to be a one-stop shop. And so he called me up and he's like, if you get it moved down there, pay me a little bit every month. He's like, you can have it because I'm paying for storage right now.
right?
And he's
Wow.
like, that's
He
what
was
I have to
losing
pay.
money on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And so we started looking into moving company or moving trucks to get everything down here. And I said, well, I need to know like a list of all your equipment so I know exactly what size truck I need to
Right.
get. And he calls me back a day or two later. He's like, okay, bad news. Storage unit was broken into. Some of the stuff was stolen, like the sewing machines. I think it was sewing machines and the heat press.
Okay.
And I said, okay. I said, well, do you still have the fabric? Do you still have the computer and the program? And do you still have the printer? Yep, I have all that.
Good enough.
I said, okay. I said, readjust your price.
Yep.
I said, I'm not worried about the sewing machines because I ain't going to sew.
Right. I don't know.
I said, and we'll just go and order a heat press.
Because that's what I would have said. So?
Yeah.
It was like low-hanging fruit to you. Go ahead. You have 9 minutes, honey, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So anyway,
9 minutes?
No, she has 9 minutes, not you.
You weren't calling me honey?
No.
oh boy.
56
I
Are you having fun?
Good.
Always.
Good.
Yes.
Cheers.
Episode 56 might not happen, but go ahead.
I'm still mad that you got to eat all them damn oysters.
I know. Oh, that's right. All right, so
Well,
you
you know where I'm
so
going.
you're like, let's move it.
But yeah, they were frozen. Got frozen when
Oh.
they did the police report.
Right.
So the only thing I got from this guy was the fabric. Well, at this
Okay.
point, we had already started talking to people. People, like I went to a lot of my old customers, because I knew they didn't want minimums. Like that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start my own deal was to help out some of these smaller teams. Because
With that said,
Mhm.
we have a lot of short track people out there. If
No
they want
minimums.
crew shirts, what?
no minimums.
No minimums. You want your short track, crew uniforms, whatever you need, fire suits, on our website. While you go buy the merchandise, if you buy a bunch of stuff, you can go by the sponsor page, and Infiniti Actionwear is there. Click it, and I'll take you to Kelly. So go ahead.
So, yeah, so I knew that potential, and when I started talking to some of my old customers, they said, you know, you've never screwed us over, we know your work ethic.
Relationships. Huh?
And, you know, if you're starting your own deal, we'll stick with you. And I didn't want the big teams when I first started
Right.
because I knew there was going to be a lot of learning curves.
Yeah,
A lot
and
of
it
learning
probably
curves.
might have been hard for you, right?
Oh,
now,
yeah.
now you can get this spire who says, "Hey, guess what? We just got
Store freezing.
Yeah.
right someone's cakes and bakes for
Right.
next weekend. Can you get us 5 shirts?"
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and boom, you can do it.
Oh, yeah. Trust
Yeah.
me, right before Vegas, I got a phone call from one of the truck teams that got sponsored by Camping World.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
I got the call
remember that, yeah.
on Wednesday morning before
Mhm.
Vegas. I was flying out Thursday morning. What are the odds of me getting 4 or 5 shirts for this weekend? Got them done.
Right.
Got them delivered.
Right?
It was an all-nighter, but it was
That's right, you've
got
done that
taken care of.
before.
Oh yeah,
You've
and,
done that.
and that's what, and I get it, and that's
Right.
the thing is that's the difference is I understand what this takes, and
Right.
you got to do what you got. And
Okay.
so
Perfect.
It's part of our business.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
100%, especially January, February.
So we talked about all the racing, all your accomplishments. Women's History Month. You've definitely made your mark in the sport. One thing that you are a lover of the local music scene, and Kelly would bring in. She'd go to Nashville, her second, third home, whatever, and she would all of a sudden performers would be showing up in Mooresville, and like where they? Oh, from Nashville, and Kelly would go back in, and so you're convincing them to come here for a weekend, and you're booking them Thursday, Friday, Saturday, wherever, maybe Sunday if you can, and they come and perform here, and then they go back, and they
So
tell
you're promoting some.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
so they
probably
tell other
6
Nashville
or
performers.
7
Nice,
people
very
from Nashville
nice.
that come over here to play every
Right.
couple months. So
So that is something that you believe in the music scene.
yeah, I mean, I love music, live music. Obviously, everybody whoever looks at any of my social media will always see.
live this, here we are, music this.
That's
Well,
the only
and-
time I'll do live stuff.
No,
is
that's
usually
fine.
You know,
when it's on music,
let's think
so.
about Nashville. All of us have been there.
Yep.
And there's winners and losers. People don't know. We'll talk about this, but
Right.
you go into losers, and there's guys. All of a sudden, some guy will walk in, and
You
he's
never know who you're going to
Right.
see.
you never know who you're going to see there.
Like a name signed artist.
Right,
And
and,
they just
and
play.
like Blake
Yeah.
Shelton or someone.
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
And now you're dragging these people that could be
Right.
potential that guy
Yeah.
here.
And then they come back. They like it so much that
Oh,
it's such
yeah,
a good
they
time.
love it
They
out
come
here.
back every
It's a
few months. Yeah.
Change of pace for them.
Sure.
Mhm.
So
It's new-
and that's
New
what they like
T-shirts to
to
sell too.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of get away and everything else. So like I said, I probably have 6 or 7 right now that love to come out here. So every couple months
Yeah.
we'll schedule, and I try to make it worth their while. So I'll
Right.
put 4 or 5 gigs together a week for
Mhm.
them so that they can come out, hang out for the week, and everybody likes to come
So,
out and watch them.
Kelly's a go-getter, in case you haven't picked up on this. Now, in addition to all the stuff we talked
I'm
about,
going to say she's an entrepreneur. Because she works at a bar at a hotel, and I
Between all
guarantee
the
you
stuff.
she probably says, "Hey, you know what? I can get you a deal on a hotel."
as for
Well,
the
that does happen sometimes.
Right.
So when I did
So
come
one
to town.
one point you had the video rental place, an ice cream shop, and then you also had a candy vending business.
Yeah.
You did that for a while.
Oh my
I
God.
told you I've known you for 20 years. I follow along your PR person, all this stuff, but you've always found a way to not just sit there and go, "Oh, this is best. This is as good as it gets."
Right.
You always want to do better, and you always want more, and you always set out to do it. So,
Hard work pays off,
I commend you for it.
100%.
Right.
That's what my motto's always been: work hard, play harder.
Right.
True.
And if you ever, I nicknamed her the other week. I started calling. I call her Julie of the late Norman cruise directing fund. And she was like, "What's that?" I go, "She look." I just came to me.
So are you Stubing?
No, I'm Isaac. I'm whatever. I'll be the bartender because I've done that before. So, but no, I mean, it's like what's going on? What's going on? What do you get? What's going on? So people are always constantly, and when you're with her phone's constantly going. It's like, is it a shirt? Is it what's going on?
Not everybody knows the Love Boat.
I understand that, but you get the Love Boat reference for you kids out there. But you've always, you know.
When I was like 18, my dad told me, "This house is not the Love Boat."
Okay, well, that's for a different reason, Warren.
Right.
That was a different kind of rock.
Well, I'm just saying.
Sorry, I made myself laugh. My turn to have fun. But anyhow, I give you all the credit in the world. And the stuff that you've done. And we've been friends for, like a little sister for 20 years. 21 now. Good God.
I know.
And I won't say we have been friends, but we've known each other for forever.
Hey, don't be crashing our friendship, damn it.
I'm not. How I know
It's
her.
all part of the NASCAR family.
I know I'm being funny.
Yeah.
We're in the NASCAR family.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the one thing I can always say, especially being a female. I mean, I did work my ass off to prove myself in this sport. And I know at the end of the day, if I was ever in trouble, I could call on anybody in that garage.
Right.
And that we always, everybody has each other's back.
Someone's down.
Well, and a lot of people respect you for it. You know what I mean? It's female, male aside. We all know that there's good, the bad, and the ugly in this sport, and you're the good,
Right.
and that's all that matters. If you'd call me tomorrow and say, "Geez, Warren, I need some help. Can you hook me up with the people at Penske?"
Let's get the number.
I mean, even competitors.
Right.
At the end of the day, we have each other's back. We've
Right.
helped each other out. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are in that garage, and you know, even when you look at drivers that fight with each
Sure.
other, you do
Yeah.
the track,
Yeah.
and then you'll go out and have a beer
Yeah.
together.
Next
I
week
mean,
they'll work
everybody,
out.
exactly.
You spend 20 plus years
Too much time.
in Mooresville, North Carolina.
You're bound to run into
Yeah,
them.
yeah. And
Hey, you know what? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
for having me.
Great story
Thank you,
having you.
guys. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Infiniti Actionwear on our sponsor page of our website. Go check it out.
no minimum
No minimum. So
for
short,
you
short trackers out there.
short trackers.
Don't-
And,
It's good. We got it.
yeah,
Good.
good.
Shall we?
Ciao.
Take a minute. Good night, Dick.
Good night.
There you go. Thank you, everybody.
Bandolero drivers,
There
get
you
a
go.
shirt.
Wow. Hey, another great show.
Great
Thank
show.
you so much, everybody,
Yeah,
for tuning
enjoyed
in.
it.
We appreciate it. We do this every Tuesday night, and Warren, I think the guests we've had have been fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And the people that are following us, we appreciate it. We're reaching 42,000 people a month. Can you believe that? And we appreciate you watching. And
Right. We're having fun. Hope everybody else enjoys it.
that's it. This is just a fun show. Bucket of beer, guys sitting around talking about it. So keep tuning in. We appreciate it. Check out our store and everything. But we appreciate you people, and we will see you next week. Right, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you next week.